Hi there, Josh here. Welcome to Frames Per Second. Today we're shooting the Hasselblad X-Pan, which I've been having fun shooting, and we're going to be shooting some Fujichrome Sensia, which is one of my favorite films. I'm not exactly sure which version this is. I know there's a 1, 2, 3, and a 4 version, I believe. But yeah, we're going to have some fun with this. It's expired, so it might have some weird color shifts, but we'll see what happens with the results, so let's go. Fuji Sensia is my second favorite film of all time, just after FramesperSecond BS, and like FramesperSecond BS, it is a slide film and very colourful, as you can see here. And it does have a bit more of a warmth to it than most Fuji film stocks, which is kind of why I like it, but unfortunately it's hard to find in good condition. Even if you get a nice cold stored roll, a lot of times the color shifts can be off. For some reason it just happens to shift more than other slide films or shots that have been expired. Now here the colors aren't too bad. I feel like with direct sunlight you get the best colors out of it, but there's still a bit of that magenta-y kind of shift to it. And there's very minimal detail in the shadows. So it's definitely a film I recommend having a very bright sunny day and not really shooting in the shade either. But I still like it. This roll was decently stored and in somewhat decent condition, though I do feel like it did expire quite a while ago, and you do get a lot of greens in the shadows from that and a lot of magenta in the mids and highlights, which isn't always ideal. This shot here coming up, I did try to get more color out of the stort, so the foreground is quite blown out, and this just goes to show the very minimal dynamic range slide film has. You still get a decent amount of color out of the store, which is what I was aiming for, but yeah, it's very blown out in the highlights. But yeah, it's a film that there's quite a few different versions. There's Sensia 1, 2, 3, and then there's also a Sensia 400, which is a different ISO. But the other three versions are 100 speed, so this was 100 speed as well. This I actually shot at box speed, and there's definitely times where I'm like, maybe I should have rated it at 80, maybe even 50 in the shade, but I wasn't too sure, because with slide film it doesn't lose sensitivity as quickly. Now here's a great example of how the colors really come out, and yeah, with direct sunlight you seem to get the truest look of the film, and it really is gorgeous when shot in the right conditions. But yeah, it's an expired roll, so it's a bit unpredictable. Good colors here as well, though you're definitely losing details in the highlights, and you can't really see the cashier through the doorway, which is kind of what I was trying to get, but it's a bit dark. But still an alright shot. I won't necessarily say that these shots are very inspired, but I did end up shooting another roll around this area, and yeah, it kind of was just whatever I ran into, me just trying to get used to the X-Pan. But yeah, very little dynamic range there. This shot I think probably has the most going on detail wise, because you got the highlights in the back, you got the shadow to the side. I feel like this is probably the most evenly exposed shot, but there was a decent amount of cloud cover at that time. But the colors aren't as punchy as when you have direct sunlight like here, but this shot I think was a little bit underexposed as well. And it was me kind of trying to get that shot quickly. And here we're in the shade, but I really liked the colors of the guy's shirt was matching the McDonald's sign, so I did try to get it quick, a bit underexposed as well, but the colors still come out nice, though it is quite magenta in the shadows there. But the reflection was a bit more blue, which I wasn't expecting, because a lot of the shadows have been quite green, so that was kind of nice. And then we have these dogs, and of course you gotta take photos of dogs. Unfortunately it is a slow film, and so yeah, not the most well exposed because there was a bit of cloud cover at this time. And so unfortunately part of this roll was actually pre-exposed, which I did not know, and I'm guessing the person that told me this forgot about. But so there are several double exposures on this roll, and they were obviously shooting a standard 35mm film, so yeah, quite a few of these shots kind of got ruined by that. But it's still kind of worth talking about some of these. Like, you can at least see the color of this shot coming through, even though there is another photo mixed in. Half of it's like a sky shot. Yeah, very unfortunate, especially because I really do love this film stock, and I really wanted to see how the colors came out of stuff like this. But yeah, I'm not even gonna zoom in on this one because yeah, really not much to dwell on. But the other person got a nice shot of a cat that is ruined now. Yeah, so it's very unfortunate. Sometimes that just happens when you're buying old film off people. But it does seem like it was well stored, and yeah, the colors still pretty good, a bit more magenta and warmer than most Fuji slide films for sure. I mean, it probably has more in common with Velvia than it does Provia, but I still feel like out of all the Fuji films, this one probably has the most Kodak-y look, which is kind of why I like it. I can't really say that the shots I got are the most inspired. There's some good ones there, and then there's some that I just can't use at all because look, there's photos of this random person's speech, which is kind of overlaid on top of it. So I did want to see how the color of this turned out. This first shot, the clouds ended up coming over as I was about to take the shot, and I was a bit impatient, so I took the photo anyway, and then went to walk off. But then the sun started coming out again, so I had to come back and get a shot in direct sunlight to really see how the colors came out. And yeah, I was not disappointed. Really nice colors. Unfortunately, double exposure of this random man's speech. But yeah, it's still a film stock that I love, but it's very hard to find good quality rolls that aren't super color shifted, which is very unfortunate. So that's all the time we have for today. Please let me know your thoughts of the film, the images, and the camera in the comments below. Feel free to like, subscribe, and post notifications when it's a new episode. Anyway, I'm Josh. It's been Frames Per Second. Just get out there, shoot some film.